food, sex, and death.
Welcome back to Food, Sex, and Death, folks. This is one of your hosts, Lefty Lucy, here as always with Michael Polino.
Morning, assholes.
And Pooj.
Well, you can just call me the Pooch. We can just do that. Don't even try
The
it.
Pooch.
That
Thank
works.
you.
Okay. Hi.
And the comedian, world traveler, Colin Bohannon.
Sure.
He's not showing up.
Yeah, he's not going to be here tonight because Colin has to work extra to make money so he can get food and pay for his home that allows him to bathe and get sex and not die.
I mean, he can bathe. I don't think he does, though.
He does. He's actually he grooms himself. He doesn't.
I know he bathes because
He's
he
not
used
one of
to
my
steal my
friends.
underpants all the time.
Both you guys just got haircuts recently. Y'all are both.
Mine was
you
just
and
on my
Colin.
face, though.
I know. I don't believe this is actually Michael in the studio today.
Dude, yeah, so since I shaved the beard,
We call him Mikey.
Mikey.
life, Mikey hates it. Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Lucy
what's
was
this
saying
about
she was
your lady friend getting
my
thrown
special
up
fucking
on?
lady friend. Yeah, so I went out for a drink after work at like 6:15 in the morning to the Abbey over there, which is just a fine, upstanding place, as you all know.
Now,
you know?
we're really going to have to talk about the Abbey and give a proper setting for what type of bar this
When
is.
I moved here, I was told that I shouldn't go in there because I'm not cool enough.
Wow. You're
Yeah.
the coolest motherfucker I know, Lefty. That's some
don't-
bullshit.
When I
Oh,
first
look
walked
at-
past there, it was completely full of homeless gutter punks. Homeless, like with their packs and shit. Had a bouncer. And it's just, it's a gross place.
Yeah, I love it.
It's
But,
a local dive.
Well, I'm also the kind of guy where if there's a bar where I clearly don't fit in, I'm like, I'm definitely going to drink there. Say something, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Oh, not me. God, I hate that shit. That's why I hate that bar. Because, like,
Well, I mean, this is me exploiting my white
This is the
privilege.
difference
you and I
between-
also used to kind of, I used to work graveyard. So at the end of a graveyard where we both work at the same bar, you have two options when you get out
We
of
do
work.
now because I'm moving on up.
Or
I
three,
work at a better
you
bar
know?
now. It's great.
But that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
you do.
though. We have the same schedule. So when you get out of work, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, literally, and you might want to have a beer before you go home or something, but there's only 3 options, and they're fucking terrible.
Oh, they're the worst. It's like, do you want to go to like a cafeteria-lit shitty sports bar? Do you want to go to like the crustiest crust punch
Or
joint?
the 2 drug bars. The 3
Yeah.
drug bars. They're all
Yeah.
drug bars, and then the pizza place. I kept, like, having conversation with my coworker or my friend that worked there or somebody, and motherfuckers just butt into your conversation.
Oh, I know. It's the fucking
And
worst.
it's too small of a bar to separate and like have it done. Like you have to fight after someone starts.
Well,
shit
because
with
here's the
you
thing
there,
about
'cause
being
it's
not
the size
cool
of a
enough.
bathroom,
Well,
basically.
here's the thing about not being cool enough. Yeah, it's full of a bunch of fucking loser nerds. You know what I mean? Like
they're not nerds.
all right, dipshits. That's the word I'm looking for. Dipshits.
That
a bunch
works.
of loser. We're like, listen, motherfucker. I can talk to other people. I'm here to consume alcohol because I want to kill the pain inside my soul. I'm not trying to make friends with you, dipshits. You know, like I don't
See,
care
the
how many
rest of
face
us do our
tattoos you
drinking
have.
at home
You still
if
don't
that's
have a
what we
fucking
want.
personality. You know.
Yeah, that's true, and that's
I don't care how floppity the giant holes in your ears are. That's not a personality.
some of the dudes that are there that have that shit going on. I like. It's just. Yeah, I don't know. It's the problem with the South. I think one of the many problems that we have here in the South with counterculture, quote unquote, is that it is not exclusive. And being a New Yorker, when you were in a punk scene in the 90s in New York, there were no Nazis allowed. Metalheads were not really wanted, but they weren't like shunned, but like it was like, oh God, the metalheads, whatever, dude. Straight edge kids were shunned. Like you were in a set and they did not fucking mix. So down here, you see kids that look punk, but then you look at them and you're like, oh, that's a Motorhead patch and a G.G. Allen patch. Like, there's nothing political about you. You're just a dirty fuck that likes to get drunk all the time. You know what I mean? So
And
and
like,
has excellent taste in music.
or not,
or knows where to buy patches.
or not at all. Yeah, I had a mild obsession with Vikings when I was around 9 years old for some reason. And did you know about the mushrooms in them?
What?
What?
Yeah, so like, Vikings developed this reputation of being these frightening fucking pillaging murderer berserker things, right? Because they brought along with them psychedelic mushrooms. So when they cruised up like early in the morning on somebody's town, they were fucking shrooming out of their minds. Like that's why they started like playing with blood and acting fucking
Oh,
insane
shit.
and literally developing their reputation of being the scariest motherfuckers in the world. It's because they were tripping balls.
They just wanted to get high. They just
Wow.
misunderstood and wanted to get high. You know.
Wow, that's some shit.
right, so I'm never gonna eat mushrooms and play with swords. Put it in its mouth. I'm gonna chew it up and swallow it. Yeah.
Speaking of things you chew up and swallow,
Why are you both looking at me?
I don't know, because it was a really fun transition to stop on. I was watching Big Mouth again the other night,
Oh, yeah.
and there's this whole
What's
subplot.
Big Mouth?
Big Mouth.
Oh, dude.
You're in for such a treat.
Okay.
Big Mouth is an animation on Netflix about going through puberty, and Nick Kroll is like the main kid.
Who's Nick Kroll?
Nick Kroll is a comedian. I'm sure if you saw him, you'd
Did you ever see that
recognize him.
show, The League?
Nope.
Or The Kroll Show on Comedy Central?
The what show?
The Kroll Show?
Kroll?
Kroll.
I'm sure-
C-R-O.
K-R-O.
Or K-R-O. I can't. I'm not a word guy.
That's okay. I am.
Yeah, I
Teamwork.
haven't had television for a long time, guys.
I'm sure you've seen around. Anyway, it's him. Jenny Slate does one of the voices on it. She,
What's her name? Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph is the girl hormone monster. So, okay. So, because they're going through puberty, there's a boy hormone monster and there's a girl hormone
It's
monster.
like puberty incarnate that follows these kids around.
Yeah.
And it's a super filthy, dirty show. It's also like super sweet and has like good positive themes.
Yeah,
it's such a great
it's amazing.
show.
They have an episode
And the
like,
hormone monster sounds like you and I. Also.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's magnificent. But there's this whole subplot where one of the kids' parents eats scallops, but it makes him super gassy, and so it affects their his romantic
It gives
life
him
with his wife.
explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, it gives him explosive diarrhea. But he's addicted to the scallops.
Yeah.
And I was thinking the other day as I was drifting off to sleep while watching this, like, it's so fascinating how many foods lead to you not wanting to be sexy at all, but like that's really what we go on dates to see. Like if you think about it, like
got a good
Italian food,
story
like
for
Italian
this.
food's the greatest
A great
like date
story.
night food, but like afterwards, or like Indian food would be great date night food, but like then like no, like everything that's a great date night food.
What, you're saying Italian
makes-
food gives you diarrhea?
I think
No,
it's
it
it's
makes you
heavy on
gassy.
your stomach. It makes you sleepy.
All right, so here's why you get
and
some.
it makes you smelly in a variety of ways.
yeah, garlic, man. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like it's the second time we've gone over garlic.
No, garlic's fine
No,
as long as you don't
garlic's
sweat
great.
it out. I had my whatever second girlfriend or something. We went on our second date, and then she was like, "I really want to cook for you," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I love eating." So I go to her house, and she makes us eggplant parmesan, and it's quite delicious,
Man,
and we
this-
eat quite a bit of it, and then she kind of tries to start fooling around with me. And I'm like, "You're fucking joking with me, right?" And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, I literally I put my hand behind her back and one hand on her stomach and just squeezed, and she just did this huge crazy fart. Whoa! Jumped up screaming and ran to the bathroom. I was like, "Dude, we just ate a bunch of eggplant parmesan.
I feel
we're gonna
like
be,
that, like,
I will
if I
look after
was
some
smarter
eggplant
when I was
parmesan.
single, that should have been my move because, like, I'm all about like getting a good night's sleep and then having like baller morning sex.
Oh yeah, I'm into it.
So like, I should have my whole single life. I should have been making like eggplant parmesan, which is like pretty much the only thing I know how to make.
We
Like
still
as far
fucked
as
after this, too.
non-egg
I
based
mean-
foods are concerned, and then I could have had nap time, and then had morning sex. It
I mean,
would've
I've
been
definitely been like, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to make this gross, but I need to go take a shit. And then we're taking a shower, and then we're going to get super gross. You know? Like once you're like hanging with somebody for a while, like, all right, we both know everybody poops. Let's
Yep.
just get this
We
out of
do,
the way.
but I think
do you
that-
want to shit first or second? And then we're going to
Lefty has
take
a
shower.
strong point with the like, you know.
'Cause then you let your
I think
body
in
process
Buffy
it.
the Vampire Slayer they have a big thing about like Mexican food. Like, do you want to have some Mexican as a way to ask somebody on a first date? And it's like, you don't really want to fuck after you had a bunch of Mexican food either.
I agree, but
Which
I mean,
is why
I
it's a
want to
great
fuck
first
after
date.
sushi.
Very gassy,
Sushi's
very
a good
big, you know?
pre-fucking, like all that
Sushi's-
clean protein, all that
Yeah.
energy.
It's not good for me. I put out on the first date. You know?
Also, well, I mean, like also Italian food. Maybe I'm built for this, but no, man. That's why you eat half your salad before the meal and half your salad after because it lightens you up, and then drink some fucking Fernet or something,
Oh,
man.
that's what the salad's for. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know, like
I always thought that was decoration or like garnish or something.
oh, I hate you so much right now. No, but I grew up like eating salad. Like you get your salad and you leave it to the side and you finish it at the end because it's like a palate cleanser and makes you feel lighter.
Huh.
Helps you like the digesting
Then
stuff.
what do you do about that sweet tooth that hits at the end?
I don't really have a sweet tooth, but then you have cannoli afterwards. Whatever, you're good to go.
you know, I
Leave it
think
on.
this
Yeah,
is
it's
where
cannoli.
it's-
Then you lay some cannoli. You know what I mean?
Ayo.
Like,
All kinds of white cream. Boom.
ooh.
This is also where
Hopefully
it's
no
nicer
pistachio
to
nuts.
be in a relationship than go on a date because you can be like, well, I literally have to go take a shit, and you can go do that. But if you're on a first and second date, I guess that's probably not going to be the best
Yeah,
thing to
no,
say.
it takes a couple of dates
It's
before you
different-
start
it's
talking
different
about poop.
navigating.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm very unself-aware in strange ways and a lot when it comes to dating. And like I have an ex-husband, and I recently found out like that's a big deal to people. I didn't
Why?
know, like, I don't know, but apparently like in dating, like for women in the South, like when you tell someone that like you were married before, it changes things. And I've seen it happen to a couple of my girlfriends, because everybody
Really?
I know is divorced. Yeah. Like dudes, Southern dudes.
With modern dudes, or is this like,
Modern, this is like recently. This is like within the last 5 months.
Well, I feel like it means you got the shitty one out of the way.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, whenever I'm like dating a woman and like, all right, so you were married, so okay.
Practice
it's like a
makes
fucking
perfect.
scrimmage.
Yeah.
It's every gets it done before they have a like.
Yeah.
Every one of my friends.
honestly,
I'm
I've
an
never been married.
So many of
overachiever.
them,
I
yeah.
was married and divorced before I was 25. Was
Well, because
my
I
attempt
feel like
at
people look at
comedy.
me, they're like, wait, so you're going on 35 and you've never been married? What the fuck's wrong with you? You know? I kind of feel the opposite. Like, well, I'm a huge fuck up, and I don't tell you.
And
you know?
I've known it long enough that I didn't bring anyone down with me.
Right. Well, also, like, I've always had in my head, I'm like, all right, well, there was a couple times where I would have married people and came close, but I was like, you know what? Whenever I get to a point in my life where I'm stable and I feel like I'll be a good husband, then like I'll let you jump on this fucking crazy ship of lunacy, you know? And then if, you know, shit happens, I'm like, oh, probably then you think I don't want to marry you because I don't like you, so everything gets all fucked up. And I'm like, oh, well, that's a bit of a catch-22, you know?
I've never felt like I've known anyone that is better once they're married. I know plenty of functional marriages, and I know plenty of marriages that are really good and productive. But when I think about the people themselves, are they happier? Are they not happier? I don't ever see them being really happier. I see
think
them
it's like-
being either plateauing or kind of like, I don't know. It's a weird thing, and it's something that's
Yeah.
a modern civilization thing to get married.
I
But
have mixed feelings about it in general, you know?
you know, it's also you have to factor in too that like I have friends that have arranged marriages, and those statistically work out way better. And
Yeah.
when you think about like
But it's a whole different
if you have
perspective.
a kid and you watch them their whole life, then of course you're going to know their strengths and probably know the best person for them to be dating if you wanted them to have a good life. If you're a decent parent or whatever. So the concept is sound. You know, the whole thing with dowries or whatever whatever.
Well, but I mean, marriage was originally formed as a business transaction, and I think
Yeah.
one of the reasons why arranged marriages work better is because the people involved understand the agreement they're a part of, and like it's not a love-based system. If love develops, like that's awesome, but like
I mean,
that's
like, love
not
develops and strengthens over time too. You know what I mean? Like when you
True.
think like I don't know, being around people and like you go through things together and you're like, wow, I really love you because how you handle that. Like you were super nice to me, and like that makes you love people. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like there's like initial attraction. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know.
I think that people will adapt in relationships depending on the surroundings. So I think it was really like you were saying, it's not cool to be divorced up until a certain amount of time or in recent history because it whatever made you look like whatever. As a dude, it makes you look like a failure. As a female, it makes you look like used or something. Or like I don't fucking know. Regardless, nowadays it's people are getting divorced and it's fine, and there are people that are being exalted as the cultural icons that are divorced and fucking up and doing all this stuff, and like it's a very socially accepted thing, and that's why I think it happens a lot more. I think like if you took the two people and you put them in a fucking space shuttle, they'd work it out. You know what I mean? But the fact
Yeah.
that you have other options, other stimuli, you're becoming a different person, you're not growing together entirely, like kind of opens everything up to what is the fucking point then, honestly? I mean,
right. Well, and there's also a point of like growing together, and like like that's an interesting concept because it becomes a point of choosing to grow together
Yeah.
too, like respecting what different directions you might be going in, and not letting that pull you apart just because like
Yeah.
you're exploring.
Well, I don't know, have you guys also like noticed like for me like getting older, I realized like in the times I've been in love in my life when I was completely ruled by my emotions when I was younger and was like I'm angry, so no, fucking believe it, you know, whatever. And now I'm like, all right, I'm kind of angry. I'm gonna make a choice to calm the fuck down and talk to you about this because I love you and I want to keep loving you because like I also like you and like let's just fucking fix this dumbass problem I don't really care that much about, but like. Me at like 24 have been like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm throwing this through the window. I'm going to the bar. Fuck you. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, you want me to say I'm sorry? Never going to happen. You know? What's like, so me and Colin, if he was fucking here, that'd be great. We have our buddy Sean White, who's a comedian who's got this bit where he talks about how Like, you can marry somebody if you spend 15 minutes online and be like, oh, yeah, you guys, you're fucking cool. How about you do it forever, you know? But he's like, but if you want to get divorced, you've got to, like, you know, you got to go ask the government and then to declare your divorce, you got to find a guy who went to, like, 8 years of school and won a fucking election to be like, oh, this dumpster fire, fine.
Yeah.
Go your separate ways. Here's a bunch of paperwork, you know?
Dude, when I saw my mom and go through her divorce with my dad, like, I was like, I had no desire to get married ever. I was like, I do, as I've gotten older, appreciate the romantic notion of two people acknowledging that something is completely batshit crazy and being like, yeah, we're going to do this together.
Yeah, I
in
know.
front
That's
of
kind of
all
like
our
how I live my
friends.
life in general. So that's why I'm conflicted about it. Because I'm like, all right, this is fucking dumb. I feel the same about marriage as I do about like religion, where I'm like, where people are like, well, how do you, I feel like being a good person, thinking that you're just going to turn to dust when you die, makes it a more powerful thing than like, well, if you're not good, you're going to get a spanking. And if you're good, you get a fucking golden cookie. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like, in theory, I'm like, no, if you're just together and anybody can walk out at any time, doesn't make it more powerful and you feel more secure. But I also like the idea of like, this is fucking stupid, but I'm fucking crazy in love with you. Let's go fucking like, let's get tattoos and get married. And
Well,
like you and me against the world forever, motherfucker. You know, like.
But I also think it's like getting engaged and being engaged for however the fuck long you're engaged. Like, be together for like 5 or 6 years before you get engaged, and then get engaged,
Yeah.
and like 10 years later get like married. Like be together. Like, I think
I'd rather be
marriage,
common law.
Like, I think like marriage is should be in today's day and age in America, should be a public announcement of like what you two already know.
Yeah, totally. But at the same time, I come from a long line. Like, I think every male Polino of 2 generations, for the most part, has gotten married like in like 15 minutes.
I mean, it is really easy to get married.
And then my dad and my mom and my dad got married on their first date. Like, my dad and my mom, like, they knew each other when they were younger, and they ran into each other at a party, and my dad and his girlfriend had just broken up, and he was like, yo, Mary, I'm going to Hawaii next week, and I got this spare ticket. You want to go to Hawaii? She's like, sure, fuck it. She's like, all right, cool. Give me a buzz on Tuesday. I'll pick you up. They went to Hawaii and got married, like, the next day.
Are they still together?
Well, I mean, my dad died, like, actually 22 years ago, day before yesterday, whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry. And were they still together?
Yeah, I mean, they were, yeah.
I mean,
Until then,
that's something.
And I mean, you know, like, they were both fucking lunatics, but, I don't know.
Yeah, I
But it
feel like
worked.
I would rather just have. I mean, whatever. You know, I honestly don't think that a lot of dudes are into weddings any goddamn house.
I'm super into weddings, man. Like, that's kind of like one of the
Oh,
things.
my fellow's into weddings. I mean, like, he's been married before too.
I mean, I wouldn't want like a big, huge wedding, but I'd be like, oh, no. Here's the deal. Like, we're going to blood handshake and everyone's doing a shot of Malort. And during the first kiss, it's going to be dope. Here's the food. Here's the color schemes. I don't give a fuck about your flowers. I want some roses. But yeah, I'd be fucking crazy person.
I've never, like, when I got married, it was very much a city hall wedding. Like, it was very, like, DL. I got married in a zebra print suit because, like, we all know I don't get a white gown. Like, let's be real. I had to tell my mom that she couldn't wear red to my wedding. But, like, that was the most, like, bridezilla moment I had was, like, being like, Mom, really? You're going to wear red to my wedding? Really? Well, what goes with black and white? Everything.
Anything.
Literally everything. She ended up finding a lovely purple dress. It was wonderful. But anyway,
Like purple.
Like, it was very much a, like, you know, it was appropriate at the time, but it wasn't like, I was never that girl who dreamt about my wedding or anything. But I'm definitely at a point where, like, you know, I care about a person, and I could see at a point being like excited to plan a wedding with him.
Yeah, I don't understand bachelor and bachelorette parties, really. Like, I don't get that shit at all.
I get that. I like when they do duo ones. Like, feel like I see a lot of those in New Orleans where you see the bachelor and bachelorette together.
Well, I
Yeah.
just like, I don't know. I just kind of don't. I mean, first of all, if I ever got married, what's this like? Oh, we're getting married in a month. Let's have our bachelor party or whatever. No, you do that shit the night before because that's how life's gonna fucking be. Like, you're gonna be hungover for the most important
Why?
moment. Like, I mean,
Fuck that.
for me at least. I mean, like, as you're gonna marry me, like, I'm gonna be hungover for all the important things. Let's just set this record
I'm an
how it's
event
gonna
planner.
I don't wanna
Like,
be
I'm going to
hungover.
plan it so that you do the bachelor party a full day before, so that everyone gets to sleep and recover
Okay,
the next day, and
that's
then
how
you
I
do
would
say
the
that.
rehearsal thing. shit. If
Depending.
you're doing that shit.
I don't like fucking motherfucking having to do 5 fucking day weddings and shit. It's like, let's just
No, you get like 3
get it
days.
done.
You 3 days, you all hang out.
it's an
Then everybody has more
excuse-
fun at
it's
the
an
wedding
excuse to
too.
go on vacation
Days.
with your close
Yeah,
friends.
well, then also
like,
all your friends
It shouldn't
meet
be
each
something
other.
you're dictating to your friends. It should be like, yo, so we're gonna get married. These are the places we're looking at doing. Where does everybody want to go on vacation?
Right. Well, I mean, the best weddings I've been to are where it's like it's an experience. And I got something out of it too. Not like, oh, I have to go do this fucking appointment
And spend
then
all
like
this money
and
that I
take
don't
a
wanna
day
spend.
off work.
Yeah.
And like I said, oh, I get all right. Here's a vacation with a bunch of people who like we have mutual friends and some of my friends, and they make friends. Then at the wedding, everybody has a fucking blast because they all became friends a couple days earlier. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
This is like a wet dream fantasy of what a fucking wedding is to me, guys. It's awkward. I'm in a fucking suit. I'm sitting around a bunch of weirdos. Sometimes there's an open bar, sometimes not. The ceremony takes forever. And there are only 2 types of fucking speeches at a wedding: shitty and short.
I've seen some great fucking speeches
Tearjerkers must have been.
and hilarious.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You've got a 3-day wedding. I'm not coming to your wedding, son.
It was like
I'm
actually,
prepping you
it
right
was like
now.
a 5-day
Now we
wedding
know,
in an
Pooch.
island in fucking Greece, bro.
We'll just invite you to the big show. You don't have
I
to come
want
to the
to get married
precursor
just to
shit.
show you how fun my
We
wedding
can
would be,
just
Pooch,
skip
you
it,
son
you
of a
know?
bitch.
We'll just skip the whole thing. And, I've been best man at
There's
4
going to be
weddings.
ashtrays and there's going to be an open bar. Fucking obviously,
I know.
there'll be no vodka. I'm sorry,
Everyone
except for
in
you.
attendance at his bar is going to be a bartender.
Yeah. Have you been to a bartender wedding?
It's going to be sponsored by Malort.
Yeah. The last wedding I went to, the toast was all mini bottles of Malort, and there was like 300 people there. They had like 300 mini bottles of Malort made.
How many people threw up?
Nobody, but it was great because half bartenders and half their families from like the Midwest. So they were all like, my buddy's girlfriend's like, turn around. There's the most Malort deflowering ever in the history going on right now. We look and there's 200 people who are like, oh, Jesus. And we were like, oh my God, I wish I was recording just this. It was amazing. It
that's
could have been
so
a fucking
good.
commercial.
It's so good.
When you start a band, Malort deflowering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just by the way.
It could be my biography title too.
Malort.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of like
You're
the
welcome.
Wilt Chamberlain of Malort virgins, you know? Like Pooch mentioned earlier, like we work at the same bar now, and I work at graveyards. And like our boss comes in to like get the drops at the end of the night, and like we were talking, like everybody there's like super nice and cool to me. It's great. I work at a cool bar now, which is fun. Like I like all my coworkers except for this Pooch guy who's kind of a prick. But
Watch for that motherfucker.
yeah, everyone's warned me.
I
Over
hear
the whole
he's
staff.
wily.
I've gotten like notes about it shoved in my bag. It's weird. But so like I'm talking to my boss when she gets a drop, and we're bullshitting, and we're the Abbey, which is like 5 doors down or whatever. She was mentioning how it's funny how like she walks past there in the morning and she'll see her employees like trying to hide their face, and she's like, "Look, motherfuckers, you don't become invisible when you're in the Abbey. Like, I don't care that you're at a bar. Like, are you gonna show up to work tomorrow? Like, that's what. Don't be that drunk at work. That's all I care about, right?" And so I was out front. So we're at the Abbey yesterday. I went and met my girlfriend there after work. And some guy like did a shot and then like cough puked all over her fucking back. So I'm like, you need to take a fucking walk, man. I'm not gonna beat the fuck out of you for an involuntary reaction. But that's fucking disgusting. And also get the fuck like I'll take the liberty of throwing out and not my bar because like this is not happening, you know. And so he leaves and she cleans off and like her clothes are gross. So I gave her my shirt. So I'm in the Abbey shirtless, and Gonzo couldn't find any of the Abbey t-shirts. So I'll just buy a t-shirt here and wear that home in a minute. And I mean, because you have breasts and don't want to be topless in the bar, I don't give a shit because I'm just going to offend everyone with my hairy bag of oatmeal body, you know? So then, like, I'm also smoking a cigarette with one of our other coworkers, and he sees our boss walking over, and he's like, "You should go inside right now." I'm like, "Well, she's obviously already seen me." And
You're
like,
not at work.
And we just had this conversation. Also, at the scummiest bar in the fucking city, so it's not surprising. And so I saw her. So I'm like, "Hey, sorry, I promise I'll wear a shirt to work tomorrow." You know? I don't know. It's just people who are like afraid of their bosses like, when you're not at work. I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything bad. I'm not at a fucking Nazi rally for fuck's sake.
When you're not at work, you're not the boss of me,
Right. Also, I mean, bosses are people too, you know?
especially in this town.
Yeah. I don't know. So then we went home and had like super fun, sloppy, drunk sex. That was great. My dick's super sore now. I feel like I slammed in a car door like Joe Pesci and Raging Bull. You know?
Yikes.
Drunk sex. Ugh.
If I don't make some sort of cinema reference every episode, it's either going to be like Scorsese or the Coen Brothers or Nicolas Cage.
You already had a Goodfellas reference.
Did I? Oh, yeah. That's like my.
You know what I was thinking about? Because I did edit the last episode. My bad. Fuck. You remember him in Moonstruck?
I love Moonstruck.
Yeah, I was trying to watch that last night before we started having
God,
sex. Yeah.
Cher is so terrible. and
Olympia
he's so
Dukakis
rad.
is awesome.
Yeah, God.
Wait, what? I didn't
I had
hear
to see
a word.
that.
Movie's
Yeah,
great.
I don't know. Yeah, I forgot about. He has these roles that I sometimes.
He has so many roles.
Can't ever forget about Raising Arizona either, which
Yeah.
we didn't talk about, which is just an amazing film.
That was the strong era for Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, dude, Wild at
Yeah.
Heart.
Red Rock West.
Red Rock West is a fucking sleeper, man.
I didn't
I like
see
that movie.
Matchstick Men, but I loved the poster.
Matchstick
liked
Man
it.
is
It was good.
fucking great.
I thought the ending was stupid, but up until he's awesome.
I remember the previews looking great.
I think there's three in Nicolas Cage's career. There's 3 shots of him standing and then a jail cell closing in front of his face, which I feel like must be a record because it happens in Wild at Heart. I
damn
feel
it.
like to an extent, Nicolas Cage's like action star stint was him being like, "Fucking somebody, let me play Superman for fuck's sake." You know what I mean? I think he just really wanted to play Superman, so he's like, "I'm gonna work out a lot and be in action movies till somebody lets me be a superhero." And he got Ghost Rider. And he's like, "Fuck it, man. The Superman thing didn't work out. I'm gonna do it." You know?
Yeah.
That sound logic.
Yeah.
That plays. The judges let that pass.
Oh, hey, here's what's fun. I just got a text that apparently Nicolas Cage is going to voice Spider-Man Noir in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, like it literally just popped up on my phone as we were talking about. Let's talk about a skip in the Matrix, am I right?
Animated?
I'm assuming so, yeah.
Cool.
Looks it. Yeah.
A lot of the animated ones are fucking awesome, man. Like, I never really liked The Flash, but Flashpoint Paradox is amazing. And,
I think the Flash is like the most boring goddamn superhero.
he
I'm not
was
a huge comic
until
guy,
the
but-
90s. I didn't even know this, but in the 90s, they just threw in physics and made it dope as fuck. Like with his Speed Force thing, like he can, go back in time and do all sorts of crazy shit that, like, they definitely made that work because, yeah, he was just fucking stupid and running fast for like a decade and a half there, it seemed, or something, But yeah, he got cool, and the bad guy is so awesome. Thong, the evil Flash from the future, is his
Thong?
His name is
amazing.
Thong.
Yeah, Thong.
Thong, the thong, thong, thong.
I'm glad you did it on me. I was like, somebody's going to do
Without
that.
the G, but Thon is an evil
Bizarro
scientist.
Flash?
Yeah, well, he's not Bizarro. He's like Lex Luthor, and a negative, like an evil Flash. Like he's faster than Flash.
Isn't Bizarro like equal opposite, like the negative?
Yeah, like Bizarro
version of-
Superman was in.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
but
why I
he's
know.
an
I think it was
idiot,
Action
though, also.
Comics
He's
number
like a zombie.
254. Why the fuck do I know?
really? It was
I
bizarre.
thought Brainiac made him. Yeah, he tried to.
Yeah,
he tried
yeah,
to
yeah.
clone Superman.
Yeah.
And he made like a dumb Superman, basically. But
Nice.
yeah,
So, I've been trying to think of sex stories because they never have them, and then I realized I was like, oh, we should talk about our worst sex stories.
oh God. Okay.
Fun, right? So,
Yeah.
so the one that jumps out to me personally was my best friend, who is also a homosexual, had another best friend from previous who was a heterosexual male who was coming to New York City, and he really wanted us to hook up. And we all hung out and everything was fine. Everything was wonderful. And he and I lived in the same building and his friend was staying with him. And so his friend came to my apartment, stayed at his apartment, and everything was great until he was a few pumps inside me and said that he couldn't do this anymore
What?
and pulled out and left.
Whoa.
Apparently he felt peer pressured to sleep with me. He felt like he had to do it and then was not into it. But that was one of my formative sexual experiences.
That's
Dude, I
bad.
feel like every woman I know has so many terrible sex stories.
I mean, in as much as possible, he handled it as well as possible once he was inside of me, but I would have liked him to
Why
have
did he
thought of it
just-
before
yeah,
then.
dude,
That would have been
Yeah.
great and not,
Newsflash,
traumatic. Right, because weren't you getting, you felt dick shamed because by that was your lady's
Oh, no,
doctor, not yours.
Wait, huh?
Your lady's doctor wanted you to wash your dick thoroughly.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I did
I
get...
realized that wasn't your
So
doctor.
I was at the clinic with my lady, and because she was like, "Well, I'm gonna be sure. I don't give a fuck." But I didn't realize there was a part where how many sexual partners have you had on the thing? And I'm like, "Ooh, can I just lie about this?" And I've been getting slut shamed about it ever since.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you've got a decade plus on her, so what?
No, but it was in the past 6 months, and she's like, "Fucking really?" And I'm like, "I mean, I don't know. Aren't you glad you have a boyfriend who can get laid, and I'm not fucking anybody else besides you because I think you're cool?"
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Food, Sex, and Death. We are live from the French Quarter every Wednesday. This is Lefty Lucy, The Pooge, and Michael Polino.